Hi, so yesterday I made these fun little Watermark cards, and someone suggested I make a video, so I thought I would just make a quick video of how to do this, put these together yourself. Yeah, so basically what you want to start with is putting your ink on paper. So I've already done one beforehand, so I'll just give you a little idea of how to quickly do that. This is watercolor paper. I find it has worked best for me with all my little samples that I've tried so far. I know this is probably scaring people that I'm dipping this right into my ink, but what you want to do is just get a nice, I like a little bit of a more concentrated look to it, and I do like the little rough edges that you get on the sides, so you can just move that around a little bit until you've got a nice little. Anyways, that is just how you get your background. I just wanted to quickly show you that. Got my dirty water, my clean water. Anyways, that is what you do. I'm going to set this one to dry, but let me just pull out one that I've already completed. So once your paint's dry, it's on watercolor paper. This process is actually really quick. I'm just going to get my paintbrush. Oh, and by the way, this one's a kind of a big thick one, which is good for spreading lots around, but here's my little thinner one. So if you were a little uncertain, you could write your word ahead of time, but you want a really, really wet paintbrush to do this. So I've got quite a bit of water on here. As you can see, it's quite wet. And basically, you don't want any drips, but basically, you're just going to letter. I don't know if you can see that. But once you've got your stroke on, you want it to be quite wet. So I just keep going in and dropping. Oops, see, I've got a drop there. I just keep going in and getting it wetter, because what you want to do is dilute the ink that where your letter is going to go. I'm going to leave that. Hopefully I can fix that up. I'm just going to do I'm not even going to do full calligraphy. I'm just going to do a little H here, maybe a high. You want to just keep, you don't want this to dry out at all. You want this to be nice and wet. So you just keep dropping inks into the area that you've done. I'm going to go across, I'm going to make it a bit wider. I know my one yesterday was calligraphy, but I'm just going to show you a little quick. So you just want to keep dropping water in. So it's good to have really good light when you're doing this, so that you can see exactly where you've dropped your water. Oh, see, I did it again. Let's thicken that up a bit. So I'm going a little fast for the video, but I took a little bit more time yesterday. So you just want to keep diluting your area down a little bit here till it's nice and wet right there. I'm going to ignore that spot that I did a drop on. And then just let that sit for a second. If you notice it's starting to dry at all, then I would just keep adding a little bit more water, just to keep it really wet in there. See how it's lifting up the paint? You can kind of move that around. And once feels good, then you just take a piece of paper towel. I don't know if I can miss that spot that I did, but then you're just going to lay that on top. You can see where it's coming through. Lift it up, and voila! You have an actual watermark. So I did this one a little bit fast, but I did want to show you as well. I did a couple of different samples just to try out different inks to see what would work and what wouldn't work. And this technique did not work with everything. My favorite was the Ecoline, but to be honest, I didn't do enough with the Caron. So with the Caron markers, so this was Liquitex. That one didn't work. This is Bombay. I don't know if you guys can see those. This one is the PH Martin Hydrus. Noodlers did not work either. Yeah, so that was my Karen marker. So with that one, I just colored a swatch, and then I used water to smooth it out a little bit. And then this one is the one that I found worked the best, was the Eco line. So I'm not sure why this one didn't work, because they are both, I don't know enough about watercolors to tell you the makeup, but just so that you can kind of see, I'll put a little swash on each one again, just so you can see. This will save you from having to, you know, experiment with all your own inks. I know which ones work. Ready? We'll see, I can already see these ones lifting. These ones, not so much at all. So you do want your watercolor to be fully dry before you start adding your clear water to get your, so there's my, just so you guys can see. There you go. Yeah, so these two definitely are the ones that work better. Yeah, so this, again, the Eco line was a really good brand for that. And Karen marker was also a really good brand for that. So that's that. Oh, and I did have one other idea later that I thought of after. I thought, you know, you could just use that technique to get a bit of a pattern in the background, and then you could use something a little bit darker to litter on like this, and it gives a really pretty patterned background. You could do circles, squares, squiggles, just a crazy amount of things. So I hope that video helped. I'd love to see if you do make something, please tag me. I would love to see what you guys create. Oh, and one last little tip, if you've watched this far, for Eco line lovers, I like taking Eco line with me on holidays or weekend trips or whatever. So I'm going to just show you what I do with my Eco line. I have a little palette here, and what I do with all my Eco line is I just put a drop or 10, depending on how long I'm going to be away, in each one of these little containers. And then when I'm away and I do want to do some water, or I'm going to a friend's house or something, I've always got my palette with me without carrying 10 or 20 of these. And they're just really easy to, you know what, activate while you're on the go. Anyways, that was my one little tip for you. If you do have a lot of Eco line, that's a nice way to carry them about with you. Anyways, hope that helps. And if you have any questions, I did want to also say that I didn't develop this technique. Someone had tagged me in a video from a German company, and that's where I got the idea from. Let me see if this one's dry. Yeah, this one's almost dry, my little sample one. So yeah, so you could just, you know, make whatever backgrounds you want. This is the Eco line again. Do little swirls, whatever you want, and then just, you can see it lifting, and then you can just drop, boop, little, kind of got to get down so you can see where the lines are that you drew, but oops, see, of course I'm in a rush, so I'm just dropping stuff right now, but anyways, you can get some pretty fun lines in there. Anyways, there you go. Have fun. Let me see what you post. Thank you. Bye.